is your March 26, 2025 first restart lesson. Okay, so you're the one on the left here. Went over the setup position, and there's only 1% of the elite players that have their hands. Your hands are under your eyes.
Yep.
Everybody else in the world has it under their shoulders. It just keeps everything in here tighter and neater and all. So we recommend getting that position in with the driver. It's way out here. So it'll just simplify the move also. You got better angles, but simplify the move. Okay, so the takeaway. But all in all, with the exception of the hand placement, that's a pretty good setup. So the next position we look at is where the shaft is parallel. Ooh, that's nice. So parallel to the ground, and sure enough, you hit an area that's really good. See how the hands are, the club overlaps the hands from down the line. Yours overlaps the hands, and, the thing with his is his shaft is just about all his over his toe line. His stance is, so this camera angle isn't quite right, but trust me, it's close and yours is way out here. So now the butt of the club started at this crossing. Wait, let me double check this. No, sorry. Started at this crossing. Okay, so this is a pretty good position, okay? And you still have the butt against the back wall, the head hasn't moved hardly anything. And look, right now, in this position, the shaft is parallel to these yellow lines, which means it's right on swing plane. That's what I see as different in your swing. You used to have that thing a little bit screwed up, but this is a huge improvement. Then you go to the top. This is absolutely perfect as far as shaft goes. You're not over swinging, but the problem here is depth. And at the top of the swing, again, the angle is a little goofy here. But if you look at the top of the swing, if you drop a vertical, let's get a vertical from the, drop a vertical from the, so if the angle is right, it's usually towards the heel, okay? And I can show you a billion, but trust me. So on it off the heel, and the pros for the drivers is off the heel. 7-iron would be in between the heel and the ankle bone, so somewhere. You have no depth. Here's the vertical, and that's the toe line.
Yep.
So just explained while the recorder was off was that the no depth here is causing you to come in steep, because you can see the depth you have is on your toe line. It should be on your heel. And I maintain the reason it is because your hands started so far away from your body. If they started under your shoulders where this line is, with that depth you have there, it would end up close to where it should be, so you can shallow it out. Okay, it's not as complicated as it may sound, trust me, and I'll walk through it. So
it sounds like it's an address thing.
Well, it is, yes, because see, that's like 8 inches depth, and that's about what, he has a little more, but yes, guaranteed. Okay, so that's another benefit of making that address like everybody else. Okay, so then once you're at the top, this is totally predictable, and I explained that with the wood dowels, is from here, the club head gets outside of where it started in that purple line, and it gets steep. So what we were talking about, I think we were recording when we talked about the first guidepost being on your forearm, like everybody in the world, it's the dotted line here, and the next guidepost that I'm sure wasn't recorded is this X, red X here, that's the club head, and it should be more like Adam Scott's. But like I said, you're starting to rotate the hips through. There's some good parts here. Head's on the ball, the head hasn't moved. That's good. You've retained the spine angle. Look, you exit on plane. So there are components here that are really good. It's just you're screwing the pooch with this no depth and just tomahawk chop. And we'll get to it and back this up. And this is kind of like a smorgasbord. We're throwing some things out here, and then towards the end of the lesson, we'll just identify 1.5 concepts that you work on. So it's not going to be as complicated as I'm leading you to believe. I just want to put all the things that are good and bad out, and then we'll backtrack. Okay. And then the follow. What we just went over is your chin is down, your head hasn't rotated. Watch this guy in the. He's got his head rotated 15 degrees, and that's all it takes. So from here on, you're just lifting your hands and setting your wrist as best you can with that grip. Okay, so at the top, you haven't rotated this, the chin, and in reality, while we're working on a better position at the top is you got this knee stuck. So if you're going back like this, and you get your knee like all the good players caved in a bit, look, I just added 10 more degrees to my turn. So you got to stiff here. So look, I'm here, and if I cave that knee in, look where the butt of the club. You go that far. Again, that's like 20 yards. So a better top position. So look. Now, this is a little deceiving because these guys have good flexibility, and so they can restrict their hips and still get this major thing. In our age group, this has a cave, that hip has to give away. So it's turning your barrel. It's just like this, and then that's going to get you there. And it's just kind of a little dance step. But so what's restricting the backswing, which is the big limiter on your distance, by the way, is shoulder isn't behind the ball. And see, the good ones, that right shoulder disappears. That left shoulder is under their chin or where their chin should be. And their head's rotated. Okay, so I'll give you a copy just in case. Okay. So there's a slight sway, but that's not killing you. Okay, so oh shoot. Okay, so on the way down, you have, I just ran out of tape. So